Hello, hello, hello. Hope you all are doing well today. This video is going to be the rest of chapter 1 of King Solomon's Mines, which I started in the last video. And I'm just going to jump into it. But again, I hope you're all having a good day. We still got the quarantine stuff going on. More and more stuff. It's closing every day. So there we go. So we got this guy, Jose Silvestre, that's coming back, right? So we have the mountains that supposedly have treasure there, something like that. And this guy said, "Next time you see me," to one of the main character, the narrator or whatever. He said, "The next time you see me, I'll be rich." But when he comes back, he's sick and skinny looking, and just he looks weak and frail. Okay, so here we go. He staggered, then dropped to his hands and knees. It was Jose Silvestre. There wasn't much left of him. He was just a skeleton and some skin. His face was yellow with fever. His eyes stood nearly out of his head. His hair had gone white. "Water!" he cried. His lips were cracked, his tongue black and swollen. I gave him some water with a little milk in it. He drank 2 quarts without stopping. Then the fever took over, and he began to rave about Solomon's mountains and the diamonds in the desert. I did what I could for him, but I knew he was sure to die. He slept through the night. In the morning, the rays of the sun hit the tallest of the Solomon's mountains. "There it is," Jose Silvestre said, pointing with his thin arm. "But I'll never reach it. No one will." I wondered what he meant. "Are you there?" he said. My eyes grow dark. "I'm here," I said. "You must rest." "I'm dying," he said. "You have been good to me. I will give you the papers. Perhaps you will get there if you can live through the desert, which has killed me and my servant." He pulled out a leather pouch and handed it to me. Inside were some papers. "My ancestor came here 300 years ago," he said. "He was the first Portuguese to land in Africa. His name was also Jose Silvestre." If it's Sylvester, I'll be so mad. I'm just reading it the way it sounds, but now it kind of looks like it'd be Sylvester. But whatever, what can you do? It's R-E, not E-R. If someone wants to tell me how it's pronounced, Silvestre, is it Sylvester or Silvestre? So, yeah, I don't know. Thank you. "He did die in those mountains. His servant found him and brought back those papers. These papers. They have been in my family ever since. Maybe you'll succeed where I failed." His mind wandered. In an hour he was dead. "But what was in the papers?" Sir Henry asked. I said, "I have shown them to no one except my dear wife, who's dead now. She thought it was all nonsense. I made a copy and had the Portuguese translated it into English." That's the way they worded it. "Part of it was a map. I'll show it to you." I unfolded the paper. It read, "I, Jose Silvestre, am now dying of hunger in the cave near the top of the southern peak in the mountains called the White Twins, in this year 1590. Wow. I am using my own blood for ink to write this. If my servant finds it, I have told him to see that it gets to the king. He can send an army to cross the desert and defeat the brave Kukwana tribe. Then he will be able to reach the mines of King Solomon. I have seen the diamonds there in that treasure chamber beyond the place of death because of Gagul, the witch finder. I barely escaped alive. Let he who comes follow the great road that Solomon made. Let him kill Gagul. Farewell." When they finished looking at the papers, both Sir Henry and Captain Good turned to me in astonishment. "I have been around the world twice," Captain Good said, "but I have never heard a story like that in my life." "You're not making it up, are you, Mr. Quatermain?" Sir Henry said. "Do you think I'm one of those silly fellows who thinks it's witty to tell lies?" I said. "If you don't believe me, forget it." I stood up to leave. And this says blood for ink. This is the Quartermain guy, the narrator. It's him showing them the papers, I'm guessing. I stood up to leave. No, sit down, Sir Henry said. I see that you aren't trying to fool us. Only your story is so very strange. I haven't yet told you about my brother. I haven't yet told you about your brother, I said. The morning that Mr. Neville was starting on his journey, I told them I saw his guide Jim preparing the wagon. Where are you off to, Jim? I asked. Hunting elephants? No, we are after something more valuable than ivory, he said. We are looking for diamonds. We are going to Solomon's Mountains. Do you believe that foolish story of Solomon's mines? Mr. Neville says he must make a fortune somehow. He is determined. They started across the desert. That was the last I ever heard of them, I explained. I am very afraid, I said to Sir Henry, that your brother is dead. I am aware of that, he said. But I mean to... Hold on. It says they started across the desert. Trace him to those mountains and beyond. I won't give up until I find him, or until I know for sure he's dead. Will you come with me? No, thank you, Sir Henry, I said. I'm too old for wild goose chases of that sort. My son depends on me. I cannot afford to risk my life. Both Sir Henry and Captain Good looked very disappointed. Mr. Quartermain, Sir Henry said, I am very well off. I will pay you as much as you want. Before we leave, I will arrange for your son to be taken care of in case anything happens to us. You are our only hope of reaching those mountains and of finding my brother. If we come across any diamonds, they will belong to you and Good. That is a most generous offer, I said. But as this is the most difficult expedition I've ever considered, I'd like some time to think it over. I'll give you my answer before the ship reaches Durban. I said goodnight and went to bed. That night I dreamed of poor dead Sylvester, and of diamonds. Before this shipboard encounter, I had pretty nearly put poor Sylvester and his strange story out of my mind. Now the tale was haunting me, not only in my dreams, but in my waking hours as well. I had to give it much thought. I had to give Sir Henry my answer, and soon. What a good rest of chapter 1. For the next chapter... Ooh! I'll just show you this picture. This is right before the chapter 2. It says, we came near Durban. I love the artwork in this book. It's just really nice and simple. So, alright, we know we're on chapter 2. That's okay. So, I really liked chapter 1. So, basically what I've got, the gist of what's going on is, basically we've got a main character. He's Quartermain, whatever his name is. Quartermain. It's his last name. And he found out from this guy Jose Silvestre about the Solomon Mountains, which lead to Solomon's Mines. And there's treasure there, and there's like a village, and there's like some guy that you gotta kill, and there's a desert. And so basically, there was that meeting of 3 people, right? That's going on like in the present in the first chapter, and there's Sir Henry and his brother. I don't remember his name, but his brother went to Solomon Mountains in search of the mines and the diamonds, therefore the diamonds, and he wants Quartermain to help him on a expedition to go look for his brother, and if they find any diamonds, it'll go to him and the other guy in the room, Mr. Good, which I don't really know or remember much about so far. But that's what's going on in chapter 1. From now on, each video will be start to end for the chapters. And that's it. Thank you guys. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell or whatever, and leave any comments and ask any questions. And I'm looking forward to engaging with you guys, which I don't think will ever happen, but because I'm doing this very low key. But who knows? You never know what's gonna happen, what you might find in life in the Solomon Mines. All right. Thank you guys, and have a good night.